Hi, this is Rowan and this is my story of having a lifelong stutter. My earliest memories were of finding it difficult to speak, but it didn't really worry me. It was only once when a few of the kids said to me, "You can't talk properly," that I realised that something was really wrong. At the start of high school, the bullying really ramped up. On the odd occasion, I've got to say that it did turn violent, but it was mostly a feeling of being ostracised by the cool kids, and by implication, most of the other kids. I do remember the bullies taking delight in verbal abuse because of the severity of my stutter was such that I could not respond. I felt as if I was going through life with both hands tied behind my back. I did have speech therapy during this period at school, but it was not really hitting the mark, and it didn't give me any real practical methodology of how to be fluent. So I must admit it was very frustrating. I studied science with a chemistry major and chemical engineering at university. These 6 years at university were really difficult because it made it very challenging to make social connections, and even more importantly, it was very difficult to ask technical questions in lectures and tutorials and practical classes. Whenever I asked a question, it became a painful and awkward experience. And the intensity of the study was such that it meant that I had to put my speech fluency management on hold during this period. So my stutter became very, very severe. By an absolute miracle, a few months after I graduated, I was able to find a job with a great company, Shell, the Shell Oil Company. So I really now set about trying to find a solution to my stutter. It didn't happen overnight, but it was a gradual process over many years that I found the combination of rigorous learning of smooth speech in combination with Toastmasters and also having a great lot of friends in speakeasy support groups really allowed me to eventually become functionally, but not perfectly, fluent. My final 5-year assignment with Shell was overseas, and I worked in the UK, Singapore and South Korea, and this really tested my fluency. And the combination that I had to employ was doing early morning practice to really make sure that I was able to make things work during the work meetings on the overseas assignments. The secret sauce for me has been a combination of the smooth speech basics, of having a clear idea of what you're going to say before you open your mouth, breathing into the first part of phrases and gliding onto the vocalisation to avoid hard onsets, joining the words together smoothly and integrating the breathing and the phrasing and pausing into your speech. And you also have to have a mindset, I believe, that don't worry about what people think of your speech. Just use smooth speech, as obvious as necessary, to remain fluent. Because it always sounds better than stuttering. I now run an online support group called the Smooth Speech Workout. The details of this group are on the Speakeasy Australia website under Support Groups National. Feel free to check it out, and I look forward to hearing from you.